All right, I have another new toy. The fellow who found this oscilloscope for me also found a Agilent 3458A. Now this is an 8.5 digit multimeter. You'll probably see every other electronics channel on YouTube have one of these, either fixed or dead or something, but there seems to be no working units of these. Seems like every single time one of the YouTubers gets one of these, it's dead. So this machine has problems, reliability problems, I would say. And there is another fellow online who must have spent the last year of his life becoming an expert in these things. He's got this huge YouTube, or not YouTube, a regular website where he documents every little thing about these things and how to fix them and what he had to do to his. And I think he's done like, I don't know, 5 of them now or something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn mine on. It's got the beautiful display on the front. And it says testing hardware, and then it does nothing. And it gives you an error code. And if you say, what's my error? What's my error? Come on. There we go. It's 202. Hardware failure. Slave test. AC board. So something is wrong. And I don't know what. I don't know what. Let's see here. Let's do a reset. Testing hardware. Nothing's coming up. Auto 0. I don't know what that. I don't know how to use this thing. Better do a reset on it again. Yeah, I don't know nothing about this thing, but I do know that they're really cool. Now, I believe you can send this back to Keysight, and the last time I looked, for $2,600, they'll fix your unit and calibrate it. And I think a calibration alone is about $800. It is 8.5 digits, so it does take a while to calibrate these things. Now, would it make sense for me to spend money on caling this thing? Well, I don't have a temperature controlled. So if you're going to own one of these, you probably want it in a room that's plus or minus 1 degree. You know, any temperature variation, even though it's supposed to be accurate over temperatures and stuff, really, this is the metrology grade stuff, and you really should have it in a controlled environment room. Controlled humidity, controlled temperature, and calibrated every often. But anyway, I want one. One of the things that's nice about having 8.5 digits, even if it's not a perfect number, you can do relative measurements. You can look at very small changes, which is often fun. So I say we maybe open this thing up and take a look inside. All right. This is the bottom side of the machine. This is the power supply over here. Zoom in on that bit. Pretty nice looking stuff. Interesting, the power supply has fiber optics cables going to it. I don't quite understand why it's got that, but there's probably a lot of optical stuff in here because you don't want things talking to other things. It is 8.5 digits, so you have to, the noise level on this thing is probably insanely small. So let's go ahead and take the shield off here. And there's all kinds of, since some devices in this instrument may be damaged by static, make sure you have blah, 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 okay? So make sure you touch things. Yeah, everybody's gonna say, yeah, you should wear a wrist strap. As long as you're careful, always grounding yourself, things should be fine, but don't take my advice, wear a wrist strap. Wear a wrist strap. So, yeah, here are the fiber optics. they go from there onto here, and then some more fiber optics go from here over to here. So that's pretty weird. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah. Interesting. Now, this is one of the most interesting things, I think, of all instruments. I think this is one of the most interesting. It looks like there's just this coil of wire sitting there, thinking, well, maybe it's for spares, like if you can rework anything. No, that, I'm not going to touch anything because you need to be really careful around this thing due to oils in your hands and everything like that. That's a capacitor. They needed a very accurate capacitor. So there is a sample and hold in here. It's not really a sample and hold, it's a dual slope integrator. I think I've talked about that on the channel before. You ramp up and ramp down. You need a very, very accurate capacitor to ramp up and ramp down with, and that's the capacitor, that coil of coax. Interesting. I've seen coils of coax used in another weird way, and I can't remember what it was now. Anyway, yeah, there is. So this is the expensive part of the instrument, and at least one viewer who had a 202 error code narrowed it down to a blown fuse. And I wanted to see if we can find that fuse and see if it's blown in mine. Wouldn't that be nice? It was the only thing wrong with his was a blown fuse. Now it does have some fuses on this is not like in the mains. There are some fuses on certain parts. Yeah, here we go. F. Yeah, that was his there. F. So this fuse right here, it's one of those little mini, what do you call those? Micro fuses? Mini fuses? I forget. Anyway, his fuse was blown. It was on like a minus 18 volt supply or something like that. So let's test it. Let's test it. Let's get out of it. Something we can test continuity with. And let's test these. Oh, there's 4 fuses over here. Oh, these are probably spares. Let's see. That one is dead. That one is good. That one is dead. If that's the only thing wrong with this, oh my goodness. So that fuse is good. That fuse is good, and that fuse is good. And that fuse is good. Oh, nah, just for me probing on it, what wrong? Yeah, my fuses are good. Nah, my fuses are good. Oh, well, a boy can wish. Yeah, gosh, wouldn't that have been nice? So we will have to do a lot of troubleshooting on this thing, and it's probably a long journey, and I don't know if I'll be able to put up with it, but I have one now. Everybody's collection of test equipment should have one of these. There are a couple nice 8.5 digit voltmeters. Fluke, I don't remember the Fluke number or the Keithley number. Keithley has a really nice one. If I was going to go out and spend real money on it, I'd probably buy a Keithley. I think they're nice. Datron, in the old days, Datron used to be the really, really good one. I visited Datron back in my WaveTech days. When I was working for WaveTech, WaveTech had bought Datron in England. They're in Norwich, England. Shout out to Norwich. I love the place. So I visited them because they had built a VXI instrument, if you know what that is. It's a card. And their VXI design was really nice mechanically, and I wanted to steal their design, so I went to Norwich and got all the design documents for the card. And then we built a microwave power meter and used their card assembly. But anyway, guys was really nice there. It was Christmas time. I got to eat Christmas goose, and yeah, they were very kind to me. All right. Well, you want to see the other side? Okay, here's the other side. Here's the 68,000 microprocessor in the DIP version. These things were giant. I remember those days. The microwave power meter I actually worked on used a big 68,000. Anyway, I did check the date codes of this firmware. Those are all posted online. This is the second to last generation, so it's pretty modern. There's one revision after this one. This one is probably fine for garage use, but I might update it someday. These are UV erasable. These may or not be good or bad, these Dallas parts with the battery inside of them. But yeah, there you go. That is the whole digital side. So let's go ahead and take the peek under the cover of this one here. Another analog section with a big cover on it. All right, slide it this way. There we go. This one looks pretty fancy inside. Oh my goodness. Look at those things over there. I think these are all relays, really high precision relays. Yeah, all kinds of, and stuff in the air to keep currents and stuff down. So there's like a point there that's like super magic. That there's things that are like this little mountain there with Teflon standoff. So there's some real fancy voltage right there. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Looks like there might be some custom chips. Custom chips down here. So yeah. Oh, and there's the magic. All right. And here's the money shot here. So this board here is the thing that makes it accurate. There's a chip under here. I don't know if it's a LTZ1000 or something, but it has really good temperature coefficients. It's the accurate source, and then there's a temperature controller and stuff on here. So this is super accurate. That's the board that you want to make sure is good on your unit. And the story I heard about these was, like I said, I used to work for WaveTech and went to Datron. At Datron, they were using the exact same part, but Hewlett-Packard had a deal with the maker of that part where they got the very best parts. They paid a premium for the very best parts. And so they skimmed the very top cream off of the thing. And Datron came behind them, and they got the number 2 stuff, right? And they would take the number 2s, and then they would burn them in for, some number of hours. And after you burn them in for some number of hours, they were just as good as the A parts. And they took B parts, made them into A parts. Probably saved a bunch of money doing it that way too. Anyway, yeah. Looks like fun stuff in here. Love my pay grade. Yes, indeed. Some very smart people worked on this thing. All right, well, there you go. Something to lose sleep over, and many frustrated hours, I'm sure, will come trying to fix this thing. It's the Agilent. Keysight still makes these things. 3458A, 8.5 digit multimeter.